Hello students, welcome back to this class. I hope all of you are fine. Have you identified the man whom you see on your screen? Yes, it's none other than the great scientist Albert Einstein. Today you are going to learn a lot of new things about this man which you do not know till today under the title A Beautiful Mind, which is our next lesson. And this lesson is going to be taught to you in two different parts. The first part will be taught to you by our director sir, and in that part he is going to teach you about Einstein as a great scientist and about his famous theories and the immigration to US and the letter that he had written to Franklin Roosevelt and about the work that he had done for peace and democracy. And in the second part, you will be taught about Einstein's early life and education, marriage, and his personal life. Now, Director Sir will take over to teach you the part 1 of this lesson.
Hello children, welcome to this special video lesson on Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is considered to be the greatest physicist of the 20th century. So if you study the history of physics, the most important name is that of Isaac Newton. In the 17th century, he made major contributions to physics as well as mathematics. He introduced the laws of motion and he introduced the concept of gravity. And it remained the cornerstone of physics for more than 200 years. But by the end of 19th century and the beginning of 20th century, Albert Einstein developed his special theory of relativity, which was published in the year 1905. And again in the year 1915, he published another work, General Theory of Relativity. These two works were revolutionary in the sense that they changed our understanding of universe. So, in fact, they corrected some of the defects that were seen in Isaac Newton's gravitational theory. Okay. So it is very difficult to explain the theory of relativity in a short class like this, but I'll try to give you a brief introduction to these theories and what they mean to us. Okay, so you may look at your textbook. So one of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy, E is equal to mc square. Okay, in fact, he has given a very brief explanation of a theory of relativity in this paragraph. So, for you to understand this, first you should understand space and time. You know, we describe the position of an object or a body in 3 dimensions using 3 coordinates x, y, and z. And time is considered to be the 4th coordinate. So, you want to describe an event, so you can describe it using these 3 space coordinates and then the 4th coordinate, that is time. And Einstein actually he explained the relationship between space and time. Earlier, time was considered to be absolute. That means it is not influenced by anything else, and that it is same everywhere in the universe. And people thought that it was independent of space. But Einstein's theory changed all this. What he said is that space and time are not separate. They are related to one another. These are dependent on one another. So space and time are dependent on one another, and everything has to be explained not just in space or not just in time, but in space-time. Okay. So if you get confused between these words, it's okay, because theory of relativity is considered to be a tough theory to understand. Just try to understand whatever you can. So Einstein explained the relationship between space and time, and one thing that he said is that time is not absolute. That means time may be different in different places. Suppose 1 hour has passed, say here on earth. So in some other place where the velocity is quite high, suppose somebody is moving with great speed, so the time passed for them will not be same as the time passed for us. In fact, when somebody is moving very fast at a speed very nearer to the velocity of light, then their time slows down compared to our time. So this is something that is difficult to comprehend. In a way, time is not absolute. Okay, so that is one of the implications of Einstein's theory of relativity. And another implication is that this simple looking formula, E is equal to mc square. So this looks very simple, and in fact one of the most famous equations in physics, but it has great implications. I'll demonstrate that to you shortly. So this formula, E is equal to mc square, is one of the outcomes of special theory of relativity. Again, this theory says that energy and mass are not separate, but they are again related to one another. In physics we study mass and energy. Okay, these are two different manifestations, two phenomena that we study in physics. Now Einstein says that energy and mass are related to one another. They are not separate, they are related to one another. Just like space and time, which are interwoven, energy and mass are not two separate entities. Instead, mass can be converted into energy, or energy can be converted into mass. Now this has great implications. Let us see. So E is energy and m is the mass that is being converted into energy, and c is the velocity of light. So let us take mass, any mass of 1 kilogram, and let us put that value in this equation. Let us see what happens when you substitute that value. So E is equal to mc square. So look at this, m is 1 kilogram, and c is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. So mc square. So when you square this formula value, it becomes 3 square is 9, and 10 power 8 squared becomes 10 power 16, and this is watt second or joule, and you convert this into kilowatt second. So 1 kilowatt is 1000 watts, so divide this by 1000, so you get 9 into 10 power 13 kilowatt second. But I want kilowatt hour, so divide it by 3600, that is number of seconds in 1 hour. So you get 25 into 10 power 9 kilowatt hour. You just you do the calculation, this is the value you get, and that is equal to 25 billion units of energy. So why I did this is, I want to demonstrate the fact that 1 kilogram of mass, when converted into energy completely, gives you 25 billion units of energy. This is units, means electrical energy that we consume in our homes. So maybe your bill is, say, something like 250 units or 500 units per month. So if you can convert 1 kilogram of mass into energy, you get 25 billion units of energy. That is quite a lot of energy. So you can use that energy for so many days, not just for yourself, for the whole India. So this is something that surprised scientists all over the world. Okay, so how is it possible? We are burning so much coal to get a little energy. So how is it possible to get so much energy? But now people understood how this happens. This is what we call nuclear reaction, and in fact we get energy from sun through nuclear fission. So nuclear reactions are taking place in sun, and every second so many million tons of energy is converted into energy. So many million tons of mass is converted into energy, and just a very small fractional part of it we are receiving here on earth. Okay, so this is very stunning. This formula E is equal to mc square is very stunning, and in fact it is frightening as well. The reason is that, so if you can get so much energy, so energy is equivalent to, a destructive force as well. Okay, and in fact that E is equal to mc square has formed the basis for atomic bomb. Okay, so I have demonstrated E is equal to mc square, and what 1 kg means in energy terms. The value we get in energy terms is huge. It is extremely high. That value is extremely high, and in fact this is the formula that was employed in both the atom bombs that were dropped on Japan almost 75 years ago. In fact, a little more than 75 years ago, 2 bombs were dropped. One was dropped on Hiroshima on 6th of August, and another was dropped on Nagasaki on 9th of August. These bombs were based on this formula E is equal to mc square, and they proved to be very destructive. They killed lakhs of people. Fortunately, another bomb was never dropped on any city, but now the world has hundreds of these nuclear weapons. Okay, fine. So I hope you understood one of the implications of theory of relativity, and there are some more ideas. Okay, so we are not going into the detailed theory. I'm only giving some of the surprising implications. Another thing that relativity says is that the speed of light remains the same. Okay, so everywhere it is independent of the motion of the observer. So even if the observer is moving, the speed of light doesn't change. This is another implication of theory of relativity. So clocks slow down when people are moving. That is one implication. And then velocity of light doesn't change with the speed of the observer. That is another implication. And energy and mass are interconvertible. Okay, so these are 3 important outcomes of theory of special theory of relativity. Okay, and what about general theory of relativity? Again, he published this general theory of relativity 10 years after the first special theory of relativity was published. And according to the general theory of relativity, acceleration and gravity are one and the same. It means that there is no way to say whether you are under the influence of gravity or whether you are subjected to acceleration. Okay, and another thing, another outcome of this general theory of relativity is that light bends when it goes near massive objects. Earlier people thought that light always goes in straight lines, but as per Einstein's theory of relativity, general theory of relativity, light bends when it passes near massive objects. So you will be surprised again. Why light doesn't take the shortest route? According to theory of relativity, space gets distorted. So that bent path is the shortest path. So again, space is the space. I told you, time changes when somebody is moving at speeds nearer to the speed of light, and space is also disturbed. Space is actually undergoes some change when it is enclosed, when there is a massive object. So around the sun, the space gets distorted. So again, this is difficult to even imagine. Okay, we have so many videos on YouTube, and if you are really interested, you can watch. You can just type theory of relativity, and there are wonderful demonstrations. Okay, anyway, so according to general theory of relativity, space is affected by presence of strong gravitational field. Okay, this is another implication, and Einstein said that light bends when it is passing near a massive object, and scientists did not believe that, but again this was demonstrated during a solar eclipse, and people observed that light indeed bent when it was passing through a massive object such as sun. And both these theories, the special theory of relativity and the general theory of relativity, got accepted by scientific community. And most of the work that was done after these theories were published were based on the foundations laid down by Albert Einstein. Okay, so if you did not understand anything, or if you did not understand even a little bit of all these theories, it's okay, because we do not teach theories of relativity in school physics. Even in college physics, it is given only just a cursory glance, and generally people don't go deeper into these theories because these require several weeks or even months of study. So I hope you understood at least some of the implications of special theory of relativity and general theory of relativity. And in the year 1921, Einstein was given Nobel Prize for physics. But again, the prize was not given for special theory of relativity or general theory of relativity. It was given for another theory, another work he did on photoelectric effect. Again, that is also very important contribution that Einstein made to the field of physics. Okay. Okay, what I covered just now is covered under paragraphs 12 and 13. You may read them. And look at the next paragraph. Einstein belonged to a community, a religious community called Judaism. He was a Jew by birth, and these Jews were considered to be inferior. Okay, and they were persecuted in Germany. They faced so many difficulties, and in fact, in your world history you study, so many millions of these Jews were killed by Nazis, okay, by Hitler. And Einstein thought that these Germans may make atomic bomb before anyone else, and if they do that, then the world will definitely be under a great threat. So what he did was, he warned the President of America, F.D. Roosevelt, and he advised him to make the bomb first, so that they can use it against the Germans if necessary. And I'll show you the letter that he wrote to F.D. Roosevelt. Unfortunately, it so happened that Germans did not make the bomb. It was Americans who made it, and they dropped it on Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and so many lakhs of people were killed, and many more were injured, and the effects can still be seen. And Einstein regretted his letter for the rest of his life. He became a pacifist. He believed that science should not be used for destruction, it should be used for the well-being of the mankind. Okay, so let us take a look at the letter that he wrote to F.D. Roosevelt. Okay, here is a copy of the letter. It was typewritten and signed by Albert Einstein. You can see the signature on the right hand side at the bottom. And in fact, he talks about the developments that were taking place at the time. He talks about how this idea of mass energy equivalence can be used for creating huge energy, which could be greatly destructive. Okay, and he advised F.D. Roosevelt to take the initiative to make a nuclear bomb, so that the Germans could be defeated. Unfortunately, the bomb was made and dropped not on Germans but on Japan, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I guess you cannot read this clearly. I'll send you a copy of this letter by email. Okay. So a reference is made to this letter in this paragraph. At the urging of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned a single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. So, if you read the letter in detail, you can find a reference to this sentence in that. And in fact, only this month we see the completion of 75 years. Both Hiroshima and Nagasaki are port cities, and lakhs were killed by these two bombs. Okay, and so that's it. So Einstein made huge contributions to the field of physics, and his theories of relativity changed our understanding of universe. And now physicists are trying to go further. They are trying to integrate quantum mechanics and theory of relativity into a grand unified theory, and that will be the next important theory. Let us see when it will become reality, when we'll see that kind of theory coming out. But until then, the theories of Einstein will continue to fascinate physicists all over the world. Okay, so your teacher will continue from here onwards. She'll explain the rest of the lesson, and I hope I gave you some introduction and got you interested in this theories of relativity. Thank you.